My name is Roy, professional of MTN Project Fame Season 4.
What?
And I am hanging out with Travel Next Door. Yeah. Lovely people. A trip to Badagry, just to have a good excursion and have fun and in our own country.
Badagry, a small coastal town located between Lagos, Nigeria and Seme border, Benin Republic, West Africa. The town has a unique laid-back type of vibe. The rich history of the slave trade era is preeminently a constant reminder, intricately woven into the street names and the architecture of quite a number of buildings in this small town. Our Travel Next Door is a team of journalists, photographers, bloggers, and culture advocates led by a man named Pelu Awofeso and united by a passion to increase the appeal of domestic tourism among Nigerians and friends of Nigeria.
So at your free moment, I will encourage you to visit the website www.travelnextdoor.com. You will be able to look at the centenary checklist. You will be able to see different attractions, and every state in Nigeria is represented. Every state in Nigeria, including Abuja, has one or two attractions. So you cannot say there's nothing to see. Many people say the roads are not good, the infrastructure are bad. But believe me, the roads are not that bad. The roads that I have traveled in this country are getting better. So we shouldn't have excuses not to travel outside, within the country, because the roads are getting better, the roads are fairly good, and the hotels are getting better too. So all we need is to just have that little push to go somewhere outside of where we are familiar with. And travel next just simply means just go to a state next to you, go to a village next to you, a town next to you, and just go and have fun. While having fun, try to learn about the community, try to see how they live, try to see what they do, try to see what makes them different from you. Because if you don't appreciate how different somebody is from you, you will not appreciate them as individuals. And all of these things that we do, fighting ourselves all the time, if we travel more in the country, we will fight less. So I think tourism should be made a tool for unification, of togetherness. And I hope the government will listen and do that. So the Visit Badagry excursion is partly an initiative to promote domestic tourism in Nigeria. Domestic tourism in the sense that we want to encourage people to take time out of their busy schedules to travel somewhere close to them. Travel doesn't have to be big budget. It doesn't have to be long term. It doesn't have to be expensive. Travel can be cheap. It can be affordable. It can be fun, even when you do it on a short-term basis.
The Visit Badagry tour often begins with a trip to the Badagry Heritage Museum, which is located at Bikor Quarters along Lander Road. At this museum, tourists began their journey over 300 years back in time.
For people who are familiar with Badagry, the stories of Badagry and everything Badagry, Mr. Peter Mesewaku is a familiar name. He's an authority on Badagry. He's an authority on what I told you about in the bus, the Sator drums. He's an indigenous of Badagry, so you can expect for him to know much about the town. And like I said in the bus, Badagry stands apart from so many other towns that I've visited because the people of this place are proud of their heritage. They take their heritage seriously, and that is what I believe everybody should do all over the country.
Good morning, everybody. You are welcome to Badagry Heritage Museum. Mr. Pelu has done much of the talking, so I just want to add a few to what he has told you. So this museum was commissioned around 2002. So it was an idea conceived as a preservative measure to preserve what was left of Badagry after the 1852 abolition treaty. You know, officially slavery was abolished in 1807, but it continued illegally until 1888. But that of Badagry was signed in the year 1852, March 1852. So there was a clause in that agreement which said that all the implements used during the slave trade should be destroyed. That was when one of the oldest slave ports in West Africa, built in Badagry in the year 1510, was destroyed. The slave market established in the year 1502 was equally destroyed. Relics were thrown inside the Atlantic Ocean. Cannon were thrown inside the Atlantic Ocean so as to wipe off the evidences or record of slave trade from Badagry. So, like I said, the museum is an attempt by the Lagos State government to recapture that history, so that that heritage will not be lost forever. So the museum has perhaps the most comprehensive exhibit on the transatlantic slave trade. In all, we have 9 galleries, and the stories, they are arranged sequentially to tell you the story of the transatlantic slave trade globally, because it captures the global picture. So I'll hand you over to the tour guide. His name is Mr. Michael Jivo, who will take you through the exhibition and explain in details what we have in the museum. Once again, you are welcome to Badagry.
Led through several different galleries by Michael Jivo Sewanu, the resident guide of Badagry's Heritage Museum, tourists learned about the slave trade history which took place in Badagry around the 19th century.
The slave trade belong to lose their memory. This is the act of embarkation at the point of no return, and this is the slave route. Now is the way to know the extinction. Here you have ASCOM, that the Administrative College of Nigeria. Badagry here, historical bus, tomb inside the museum premises, and this is Central Mosque in Badagry. This is a monument of a tree called Agia tree, where the first Christianity was preached in Nigeria. It's separated in 1442 by a man called Reverend Thomas Dech. And this is the seat of the British caravan moved to the King of Badagry for the abolition of slavery in 1843.
Tourists encountered mind-blowing comprehensive collections of slave trade relics such as jaw-dropping sculptures, images, posters, shackles, etc., dating back several centuries.
Yeah, here we have the statue of a dog catching a runaway slave. You see, the slave master, that's a specially trained killer dog. The dogs were trained to cut off the throat of the runaway slaves. Yeah? The dogs were trained to cut off the throat of the runaway slaves. They prefer the slave to walk, old and dead on the plantation than to escape alive. And even if the slave killed the dog, more dogs will be released to us. No, this man, he has walked on the plantation and tired. And you want to escape, you cannot run anymore. If you try and kill a dog, they can open 10 dogs to him. Next thing that it takes the blood and go away. That means they cut off the throat, takes the blood, the man will die. But here we have some pictures showing how the slave on that's some masters. Their slave work from the light hour of the day to the dark hour of the day, which is from 7 in the morning to 6 o'clock, to 7 in the evening, to 7 to 7 evening. So when the moon, the better moon came out in the midnight, you know what they do? You have to ring the better for the game. To go back to their new portion. That's to clear new field or to fall the big tree they cannot afford to fall at the daytime. So they have just few like 6 hours or 4 hours, 3 hours to store their allowance and to relax. They work throughout their days. This crop we stand in, they were an example of domestic slaves. You know, domestic slaves, they were catered better, they were trained them better, because they work at home, and you can see them with a better cloth, because they were at home with their masters. But most of domestic slaves, the male among them were being castrated. That is the way to the point of no return.
Tourists could not but marvel at the untamed and irrepressible energy of the slaves and the details of the documented evidence of what really happened during the slave trade era. Next stop was at one of the iconic houses completely designed and built in Brazilian architecture several centuries ago. From here, tourists were led to the historic monument of the Algier tree, where Christianity was first preached several centuries ago by Reverend Thomas Birch Freeman. Tourists were then taken to the Seriki Abbas Slave Museum, otherwise known as the Brazilian Barracoon, and the Moby Family Museum.
Quite enlightening.
Excited. It's amazing. Very interesting.
Breathtaking.
It's a bad situation for the black man being. You know, backyard, you know. In a long time, them ship out borders down upon Jamaica Island, but right about now, me are so sad because it's a never good thing for the humanity.
Surreal. Surreal. Breathtaking. It's fantastic. Bring back our slaves.
Freedom is ultimate.
We have seen the Badagry Heritage Museum. That's always our first point of call. I'm happy to announce that we are being joined by one of the most competent local tour guides that I've worked with over the past 4 years. Yes, Anago Osho is from Badagry, and he knows Badagry and the story of Badagry like the palm of his hands. And when he begins to tell you the stories, you will know, or you will realize what I'm saying. He knows the story more than many, but they all do a good job of telling people the story of Badagry. So, without wasting much time, I'll just introduce Anago Osho to us. Anago Osho is also, apart from being an indigene, is also widely traveled, and he conducts stories around Badagry a lot, even across the West African coast. So Anago, sir.
Thank you. Now, one thing I can promise everyone here is that we are going to enjoy ourselves, we are going to be entertained, at the same time, we are going to be educated. One of the reasons why people come to Badagry is to learn about the slave trade, to learn about the culture of the people here in Badagry. Okay, so you guys are going to enjoy yourselves. So right now we are visiting the Algier tree monument,